I'm an outsider here. Again, I find myself like, where I was 12 years ago in healthcare and in early sobriety. I think it's different. One, my brain was rewiring itself about, the addiction. If I go back and do an inventory and kind of archival review of when did I start drinking at a kind of alcoholic level, and I'd probably say from 20. And if I really can look at it, I can probably go back to 17, right at college. And it stunts you. It absolutely stunts any ability for growth, both emotionally, maturity, physically. You can rebound because you're young, but there's this gap in me. I think that's why everyone's like, wow, you're so young. I'm like, no, I'm just immature. I just got stunted for this emotional growth while I was alcoholically, inducing myself to get through life for 15 years. So, you look at it and I pick up, and fortunately, could have actually gone the other way. And I had tried to quit drinking for a lot of other people, for a lot of other reasons, until I was absolutely knocking on death's door and was able to, really contemplate suicide, and looked at myself, and I was a nanosecond away, going one way or the other. That's how fragile it is. We're going on 12 years ago. And I picked up the phone and called 911 on myself. So, those are, and began the journey of not picking up a drink and, relearning how to live. And so, there was that going on when I got into healthcare, and I could actually kind of relate a lot of my own experiences in healthcare, navigating healthcare with an alcohol soaked mind, and just your brain screaming at you while you're trying to kick the sauce. And you just, what do you do with idle time and anxiety? And you're so used to synthetically altering mood. 3 drinks gets you here, 6 drinks gets you happy, 9 drinks gets you euphoria, 12 gets you angry, and 15 gets you to bed. You have that formula down, and it can be anything with lines and Coke and, pills. It's the same thing, that addiction is going to own you. And no matter how much you want to stop and tell yourself you're not going to leave the house until 10, until after the liquor stores close, you're lacing up your shoes at 9:55 p.m. and you're running down the street so you can get that bottle. You have to relearn, and then you go into like, okay, now how do I function in a real world? And so I came into healthcare that way. So one thing I feel about in Hollywood is that, I have a little bit more, I have more of a sound mind than I did back then. We have something that's real, that we were lived, a beautiful written story that portrays that in a screenplay. And then a lot of great people that want to work on the documentary with us to preserve the truth. And I can't think of a higher honor than to be able to try to stamp that in history before it gets erased. So, that's what's fueling me. I was on an outsider once before, and definitely in a lower situation, lower level than coming in now. So I am also eager to learn about the industry. So I will pick your brain about it for sure.
Yeah, see, that's wonderful. I hope I could be of help. You're sober 12 years, is that right? What you said?
12 years next month. Yeah. So
Congratulations.
July. So thank you. July.
That's
17th.
like a 1%, right? 1% of people that
yeah, there's
something like that.
I want to say like 10% actually do, and then most of them, 8% will slip up within the first 3 years. But
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. It's definitely not a trophy, but it's the greatest accomplishment. It allows me to be a present dad, and it's really great. I mean, my son's amazing to me, and loving him is the best gift I can have. But it allows me to be a brother and an uncle and a brother-in-law and a son, and open my door. So yeah, and to be able to go in and I love traveling, and so usually when I would travel, I'd spend a lot of time at a hotel bar, an airport bar, a beach bar, spend the morning sleeping it off, and I've been able to go deeper and further into areas off the grid and meet like really special souls. And I was able to start a social impact endeavor in Medellin, Colombia because of that. And now we, are not as, you're putting toxins into your body that are just poisoning your thought, and you're doing it to self-medicate, and you're missing out on by numbing yourself of what it's like to be human. And so I've been able to kind of rise up from that intersection of not wanting to be on this planet anymore because it got really dark, because the addiction was so gripping, to be able to rise up. And it's a great it's there's no other way through it. Like, you can't go around it. You're going through it, and I'm
Yeah.
just the luckiest person to be able to go through it and continue to go through it. It's now a conscious decision, and that's like the easiest thing in the world, because I know how that ends.
Yeah.
Once you get over that first, the physical, the physio, and then the psychological, now it's kind of like, man, that's death. If I go there, I know in 6 to 8 weeks exactly where I'm going to be, and that's in the gutter. So there's very rare moments in life that you can actually, the ending, right? You absolutely have tried to rewrite that ending, and it absolutely ends exactly the same way. It's like it's a bad relationship, right?
Yeah.
You know it, and like, but this is gripping, and it's you against you, and it's still there. I mean, I don't ever am tempted to go get a drink. There's times where I'm like, oh, that might be nice to taste that, but I'm like, no, it's just not worth it,
Yeah.
That's a gift, and then like that's not easily achieved. That took me a long time to get there. But it wasn't painful until that moment, until that epiphany. There were so many wins, Jayson. I think you had asked me, like, you have friends and like to talk about the addiction. That's why I'm going down here. There's little wins all the way through, like going to the gym. Like, that was a win for me. I became the best shape of my life, not because I was obsessed with it, but I needed to kill 2 hours, right? Conversing with people and really listening to them rather than ordering another round. That gets you to being able to tell bullshit right away. That's awesome, right? Like, not having to like tolerate bullshit, and then getting more things done by noon on a Saturday than you would all week. I mean, that's so it's opened up so much, and it's taught me that love is not finite. There's no such thing as bandwidth parameters when it comes with leading with love. That's not something I would have been able to find in active addiction.